Today we're going to talk about how fast do you actually lose weight on GLP-1s, what's real and what's not. So this is another in our continuing set of conversations where Laraine and I just chat about our journey, our adventure, and answer some of the questions that you guys have had. We did a few of these a few months ago and you responded to it, so we thought we'd come back to this format because it was fun and you guys loved it. So let's tell you a little bit about us. If you've never been to the Downsized, what is the Downsized, Laraine?
The Downsized is our YouTube channel where we welcome and explore all GLP-1 related weight loss items. So personally, I've lost over 50 pounds, as of today, 52 pounds on compounded tirzepatide. I'm currently in maintenance. How about you, Christopher?
Well, I've been on compounded tirzepatide, Zepbound, and Mounjaro, and as of today, we'll say 94 pounds, pretty close to my goal, but not quite there yet.
Yeah.
So super excited about that. And we talk about all things GLP-1. So we do weekly news, we report on research, we have our weekly weigh-in where we talk about our weight loss or gain some weeks. And all of the above, we have interviews with folks like you who are on that journey. So this is all about building a place for you to come, to connect, to learn, and be a part of the Downsized and the GLP-1 community. So thank you for joining us today.
Yes, and before we get started, please make sure you click that like and subscribe button. We're glad that you're here. That helps the YouTube algorithm suggest us to more people searching for information on GLP-1s and GLP-1 weight loss. Also, we're not doctors. We're just two people, husband and wife in your neighborhood who found compounded tirzepatide, Mounjaro, Zepbound, and started having great success with it. So please always consult your doctor before starting any new weight loss treatment.
Absolutely. These are real prescription drugs and they're serious, so make sure that you take care of yourself. All right, so let's talk about it. So I want to start with our journey, or adventure as I like to call it, because it has been an adventure, and talk about, how did we get started on GLP-1s and what was our expectations?
Right. Well, we'd heard about Ozempic. We'd heard about it on the news. Mm-hmm. I think you'd asked your doctor about it. We even had a prescription for Christopher for it. This had been some years ago.
Yep.
And I went to the pharmacy and it was over $1,000, and we thought, well, that's the end of that. So we kind of put that on hold for a while. And then, and I've always been battling my weight since my childhood, through my teenage years, through college. I've had 3 kids. Now I'm 55 years old. So I've tried good old diet and exercise. I've done Weight Watchers on and off since 1985. I've run 2 half marathons, 2 triathlons. I've done every exercise pretty much you can name, pretty much every diet you can name: Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, Jenny Craig, South Beach, keto. I've tried them all. So, I'm always yo-yo dieting, right? Or I was. So I would lose 20, 30 pounds, be doing pretty good, and then gain it back, and then, rinse and repeat. And I had a friend in our neighborhood, Elaine, who I noticed we saw her at a party, and she had lost a pretty good amount of weight. And I said, Elaine, what are you doing? And she said, I'm taking medicine. And I said, what's the name of this medicine? And she said, Mounjaro. And I'd never heard of Mounjaro. So, me and Dr. Google came home and started looking up Mounjaro and seeing what it was. And also saw the prices related to that. And I'd asked my doctor previously, is there anything you can prescribe for me? And her answer had always been, you just need to diet and exercise. Okay, so I knew that, I wasn't going to get any help from her. So I started looking online, started researching things. And as I did that, as often happens, I got Facebook ads for different GLP-1 online telehealth providers. So I looked at one and I talked to Christopher about it, and he said, yeah, I'd like to do it.
I had been discussing weight loss with my family physician for years. I mean, I was at 286.5 when we started this journey, and over the course of COVID and stuff, I wasn't weighing myself, so I'm sure I was over 300 pounds at that one point. a lot of concerns about it. I mean, I was having knee issues. I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol. So my doctor and I had been having this conversation for a long time. Our kids were younger, and we just couldn't make the finances work. So I had had a prescription for Ozempic. I had a very early prescription for Mounjaro, and still, even that a year later, couldn't make it work. So we were very open to the conversation. And then when we saw Elaine, it kind of made it more real. Like, it wasn't just a star on the TV. It wasn't a commercial. It wasn't
maybe we
some
can do this.
esoteric thing. It was a real person that lived down the street from us. I was like, well, Elaine can do it. Well, I can do it. Sure.
And I brought Elaine to Weight Watchers with me. We'd been on diets together. So I knew she had struggled like we had struggled. So, yeah.
But going into it, I mean, I had read some of the science on it, but I was very skeptical. I mean, it was a lot of money, and it kind of felt like snake oil to me. Like, oh yeah, sure, this is going to work. We're just going to spend a couple $1,000s, and I'm going to lose 2 pounds, and
and I've
go buy some brownies and move on.
Over the course of my life, I've spent thousands of dollars on things that didn't work, on pills and potions and weight loss groups and this and that. So but to see my friend do it and see her success, I thought, yeah, I'll try it. Why not try it? I've tried everything else. So we signed up with a online telehealth provider. We saw their online doctor, and we got shipped the medication to our door. And at that point, we took it for a couple weeks.
Well, I mean, basically, we committed and to 3 months. It was like, let's try it for 3 months. We'll see what happens. If not, if it doesn't work, it's too expensive to just buy for no reason. And at that point, I was having blood pressure issues and cholesterol and all kinds of things. And I was just worried about my health, and have a family history of really death from obesity or obesity-related complications. My doctor had also written me a prescription for Mounjaro. I had started for a few weeks on compounded tirzepatide and switched over to Mounjaro and was being monitored very closely by him, and I've since used compounded tirzepatide, Mounjaro, and Zepbound when it was released. Right. Pretty much interchangeably. They've all worked, honestly. Really haven't seen any difference in weight loss or side effects. But early on, I don't know. I just wanted to lose a little bit of weight, feel a little bit better. My expectations were pretty low, so it wasn't hard to exceed them.
Yeah, so I guess when we started, that's before Zepbound came out, really. So it was just compounded tirzepatide. Christopher talked with his doctor, and the doctor was, the doctor just wanted to keep a closer eye on him, which, because of his high blood pressure and high cholesterol, he's been taking medications for both of those for 20 years. Yep. So he just wanted to touch base more often with his local doctor, and so that's why he went that route. When Zepbound came out, this was September of 2023. Zepbound came out, I think, November, December of 2023. He switched over and got the prescription for Zepbound, which was specifically for weight loss, where Mounjaro had originally been prescribed for type 2 diabetes. So we're both on it. We're both taking it. It's now October. Yep. October, November, December. So why not start taking a weight loss medication right before the holidays, 2023?
Well, and so to give you the primer on GLP-1s, right? So if you're curious and you're watching this going, what the heck is a GLP-1? Essentially, we had explored Ozempic and Wegovy, which is a semaglutide, which is a GLP-1. Those drugs are owned by Novo Nordisk. So Ozempic is prescribed typically for diabetes. Wegovy is prescribed typically for weight loss or the treatment of the disease of obesity. And it is usually the one, it's almost become Band-Aid in the GLP-1 world. When people often say Ozempic, so you hear about it, the stars doing it and all that. It works, it's effective. The one that we have been on is what's called tirzepatide, which is the drug that's owned by Eli Lilly. And they have those under the brand names of Mounjaro and Zepbound. So Mounjaro is typically prescribed for diabetes. Zepbound is typically prescribed for weight loss or the disease of obesity. Also works well. Recent research, and you can go, we've actually done videos on it, and there's research out there, says that the Zepbound should work a little bit better. Lily says about 44% better, honestly, and it's worked very well for us.
Well, the Mounjaro Zepbound compounded tirzepatide is a dual agonist, so it has a GLP-1 and a GIP, which basically means there's two medicines in there working, where the Ozempic, Wegovy, semaglutide is just the GLP-1, just has the one medicine. So, and we just decided to start with the compounded tirzepatide, because that's what my friend Elaine had done. And our online doctor had said, we think it works a little bit better. So I was like, well, if I'm spending this money, I want the most effective thing, right? So yeah, we started.
Well, so let's talk about it, because the topic obviously is how fast do you lose weight? So tell us about your process.
Yes. So I decided to keep a spreadsheet of what week we were on, the date of our shot, the dosage of our medication, my starting weight, and my pounds lost that week. So in my first week, I started at 193 pounds at the 2.5 milligram dose, and in the first week I lost 4.2 pounds. 4.2 pounds. Well, that's great. Usually when I start Weight Watchers, or pretty much any diet, the first week you can expect to lose maybe 5 pounds. It wasn't unusual. I thought, okay, that's great. Well, okay. The next week, I lost 0.2. I said, hope I didn't waste my money. Hope I didn't waste my money. The next week, I lost 2.4. Oh, well, 2.4? I've never lost 2.4 any week on Weight Watchers, So I was happy with that. And the first month, I'd lost 6.8 pounds total. Solid. Respectable. I'm like, all right, this is going to work. In the second month, I lost 5.4 pounds, a little over a pound a week. Not bad. The next month, I lost 7.6 pounds. And by this time, we're up to 7.5 milligram dose, because we went up in dose every month. When we got our initial starter 3-month supply, we got a vial of 2.5, got a vial of 5, got a vial of 7.5. So, now we've come to understand the thinking of, if the dose is working for you, stay on that dose. You know what I mean? Like, you don't necessarily have to move up every month if you find a dose that's working for you. And honestly, 2.5, 5, and 7.5 were all working great for me. So I did end up staying up on 7.5 for 6 weeks, and then I moved to 10. But I was consistently losing, the next month 5.2, the next month 7, the next month 5, and then I hit my first goal of 150 on April 19th, 2024. So, in the course of a school year, I hit my goal weight, my first goal weight of 150, and I'm 5'4" and a quarter, so I did pick 150 as my first goal weight, and I lost about 1.58 pounds a week to get from 193 to 150.4 in 27 weeks. 1.58 pounds per week. Yep. Decent weight loss. Not, I wouldn't call that rapid weight loss. And I think the average on these medications is anywhere from a half a pound a week up to 2 pounds a week.
All right, that's what Lily and Novo both say. Yep.
So a half a pound a week to 2 pounds a week. I have people all the time reaching out to me to say, I'm only losing a half a pound a week. I'm only losing 1 pound a week. This isn't working for me. No. Congratulations, you're average. You're right in the average. So, it's over time, this is going to add up for you. And even after I hit my first goal, I still continued to lose weight, because I thought, well, maybe I want to be 145. So I lost down to 145, and then I got down to 143, and I said, okay, that's 50 pounds down. I went from 193 to 150 to 193 to 143, so 50 pounds down. And I pretty much hung out at 50 pounds down through the summer, September, October, November. We came around to our year anniversary, And, things happen in the course of a year, right? So we had birthdays and holidays, and a child graduated from high school, and I had a colonoscopy, and then I had another colonoscopy.
Some vacations.
We had some vacations and some cruises. So I've seen my weight fluctuate. Right now I'm fluctuating between 141 and 144, but pretty much maintaining that on a 7.5 milligram dose.
Yeah.
That's kind of my story. I went up as high as 12.5.
Yep.
I didn't never tell that part. And then when I hit my goal weight, I started dropping down. And as I was dropping down, I was still losing. I dropped all the way down to 5, and I felt like I got too hungry on 5, and I heard the food noise, so I bumped it back up to 7.5. So that's kind of where I've been hanging out, and maintenance is my once weekly shot of 7.5.
So we started at the same time, September 29th, I believe.
2023.
Of 2023. Yeah. As I said, I was 286.5 at the time. I'm 5'10" and a half. I'm 56 now, so how old was I then? 55, I guess. Our stories and weight are very different. So, I mean, I did not grow up as a heavy child. Really, I graduated from high school and just kind of looked like a normal, whatever normal means, kid, right? Just a boy.
Normal 80s kid.
Yeah, normal 80s kid, curly hair, kind of bad sweaters, normal 80s kid.
I've seen the pictures. I didn't know them.
Yeah, my children laugh at me. But as I did have a family that was heavy. I mean, my parents were heavy, my grandparents were heavy. So at some point, like a lot of people, mid to late 20s, early 30s, it starts creeping up on you. So for the last really 25 years, I've been fighting it. And, although I never ever went on the cabbage soup diet or any of these, she went on every diet.
One of my favorites.
I never did the Atkins. I never did any of those stuff. I routinely would gain and lose 20 pounds here or there. Through whatever reason, I just decided I needed to do that. And as a man, wasn't that hard most of the time. It just kind of was. The problem was it just kept growing and growing and growing and growing, and I couldn't get that big number down. And I had bad knees, and my blood pressure went up, and my cholesterol went up, such that when we started this, I was just ready to be healthy and ready to honestly not die, because that's what I was afraid of.
Well, especially coming out of COVID, we both gained a lot of weight over COVID, just being in the house and eating, and for me drinking. And by the time we came around to 2023, I think you were ready to really
absolutely
make a plan.
So, I mean, we took the first shot. In the first month, I lost 17 pounds.
Which is unusual.
And
Again,
you will hear...
I lost 6.8 in the first month.
Right. And you will hear all kinds of people talk about how much weight they lose on Facebook and Reddit and all this stuff. And what you don't know is who they are, how much they weigh, what their history is, how tall they are, and all of those things, how much they eat, how active they are. There's all these things. There's 100 things that impact how you lose weight. Because you're not me, I'm not you. Right? So you can't judge how much weight you're going to lose based off what she's done or what I have.
And yet we still judge, don't we?
We do.
We do. Like, I went looking for people who were my height, my weight, my age. How fast did they lose weight? How fast can I lose weight? What am I going to look like when I'm done losing weight? Can I look like this? Can I get to this number? I've done it a million times with a million different diets. So it's really easy to compare to other people, but really everybody is different, and you really have to keep in mind that, especially on these GLP-1s where you're adjusting your dose, you're moving through the world, like there's just a lot of things at play.
And if you have any other comorbidities, if you're diabetic, if you have inflammatory diseases, there's all kinds of other things that impact everything that's happening in your body. So resist as much as you can, because if you see somebody that says, I lost 67 pounds in the first week, in the first month, first of all, they're probably not telling the truth. Second of all, it probably wasn't healthy. Don't worry about it. You worry about you. So for me, over the course of the last, I guess we've now been doing this 70 weeks. So I've lost 94 pounds. I'm just about to goal weight. So not quite there, but almost to goal weight. So yeah, I lost 17 pounds in the first month, but over the course of that, it has been up, it has been down. I never lost 17 pounds a month again. That never happened again.
Yeah, or I would have killed him.
But there were some weeks when I was up and there were some weeks when I was down. And so when I look at that across the average, essentially I've lost about 1.5 pounds a week. Essentially, you discovered the cliche that it is a marathon and it's not a sprint. Most of us did not gain this weight overnight, and we're not going to lose it overnight.
Although, we would like to.
And so, but it becomes the question becomes is, well, what if you do? What if we could lose? Well, what happens when people lose weight too quickly?
Well, your hair falls out, and health problems can soon follow. So we want to lose weight at a average pace, at a normal pace, and what is normal, 0.5 pound to 2 pounds a week. So that's what we did.
Well, and my goal has been I want to sustain this for the rest of my life. Now, it probably means I'll be taking this medication for the rest of my life because these medications are a treatment for this disease. They're not a cure.
Right.
So your obesity didn't magically go away.
Right. We didn't cure obesity.
No, it is not a cure.
It's just a treatment.
But the longer you can stay at a healthy weight, the better it is.
Well, it's just better for your body, right? So, so it's much like a high blood pressure medicine, a high cholesterol medicine. If you stop taking those medicines, your blood pressure goes back up or your cholesterol goes back up. If I stop taking tirzepatide, my weight will, in all likelihood, go back up. And I don't want that to happen. So, So my choice is to stay on this long term.
Yep. And for those of you doing the math, so 0.5 to 2 pounds, well, 2 pounds a week over the course of a year is 104 pounds. And 1 pound a week is 52 pounds.
52 pounds. So, it does add up. And I have some pictures I have some before and after pictures. And one of them is when we moved our daughter into college. And one of them is in that same year when we moved her out. So basically in the course of the school year, I was down 45, 50 pounds. So if you think about it in that way, we all know how long a school year is, right? Especially in the U.S. It's not that long. So anyway, and you've gotten off your
blood pressure and cholesterol medication.
You've gotten off of those two medications that you were on for 20 years. And so, with the weight decrease, that just helps all those other systems in your body work better. And
so when you look out there and you look at, and you're, I don't know, we'll make up a number, 6'2", and you weigh 500 pounds. Well, the odds of you losing weight quicker, because it's a smaller percentage of your body, are pretty significant. When you're 5'2", and you weigh 150 pounds or 200 pounds, it's a whole math and a percentage equation thing that is going to vary based on you, not on anybody else.
I mean, generally, the more you weigh at the start, the faster it comes off initially. Not always, but so, you don't know where somebody else started. Everyone is different.
Yep. And so what happens is over the course of the last 60, 70 weeks, like I said, I've been down most weeks, but I've been up a few weeks. And then particularly as I've gotten closer to my goal, it is either slowed or it is plateaued. It is stalled and kind of pulled to a stop. And people are like, oh no, you're not losing. Well, the medication's still working. I still, the food noise that kind of plagues you, that thought about food that's overwhelming, has basically gone away. I feel better. All those things have gone away. But as you go through this process, there will be times when your body says, hang on, I just need to stay here for a minute.
Well, your body is very good at keeping you alive, right? Your body sees weight loss as a signal as you're starving to death, and your body doesn't like that. So you have to give your body sometimes a minute to catch up, and sometimes maybe you need to eat more calories to get things moving again. But that, that whole topic is, we did a whole video on Plateaus, so you can go and check that out.
But there will be. So this, although you might go 20 weeks where you lose something every week, and then go 4 weeks and you don't lose anything, or go up a pound, it's possible. If you take your shot every week, and I always say the biggest secret to this is taking your shot. Just take it, whether you think it's working or not. Pick a day, do it every week.
Yeah, consistency is important.
And then past that, understanding that you have to be in a calorie deficit and understanding what kind of calories you should be eating. So there's a calculator out there called the TDE. You can go and punch in all your numbers. You should be talking to your doctor and working, because what you're trying to find is that place where you're getting enough nutrition that you're healthy and you survive and you don't lose hair, you don't lose bone mass, all the things that can happen if you lose weight too quickly, but you're losing weight. And if you're starving yourself, your body's not going to let you lose weight. What surprised you the most about the last year and a half on these medications?
I think just the fact that not only did I lose weight, I got to a goal weight that I was never able to get to with Weight Watchers. So Weight Watchers gives you the height and weight chart. Here's the range of weights that you should weigh somewhere in between these. And I always pick the top weight as my goal weight because, why not? And I was never able to get to those. So when I got to that goal weight with Weight Watchers, because I kind of did Weight Watchers at the same time as I was doing the GLP ones.
How much credit do you give Weight Watchers for the weight loss, though?
I mean, I did Weight Watchers for years. I could never lose this much weight and keep it off until GLP ones. So I think Weight Watchers is a great foundation for teaching you things to eat and portion control. But, there's so many of us with this disease of obesity where we really cannot control the amount of food our bodies are driving us to consume. And that's really the whole issue. Is I knew what a 3-ounce piece of chicken looks like. It's the palm of your hand. I know that a teaspoon is the tip of your thumb. Like, I know all these guidelines and all these tricks to figure out portions and when I should be satisfied with these portions, but I just never was. And so I was constantly thinking about food, constantly thinking about what to eat next. And Weight Watchers just kind of reinforced that food noise because I was constantly tracking my food or planning my next meal or thinking what I was going to eat next or calculating the points that I had left for the day or the week or planning for a special occasion and saving my points up to eat them on a certain day. So that was always just made it even harder really for me. So once I started these GLP-1 medications, and that food noise kind of left my brain, it left the building, right? So I wasn't worried about what I was going to eat next. I wasn't thinking about what was in the pantry. I wasn't thinking about food at all. And it just kind of freed my mind to think about so many more things. And I decided I didn't want to track my food. I wanted to eat 3 meals a day. I wanted to try to eat when I was actually hungry, which I'm kind of still trying to figure out, in maintenance on GLP-1s. And I wanted to make sure I was getting 30 grams of protein each meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner. I wanted to hit those protein targets because I think that's important.
So let me question. So to you, tracking was physically writing down or recording in your app every single bite you put in your mouth.
Oh, yeah. And did I always do that? No, I rarely did that properly.
So although you do not do that, you are aware throughout the day of your protein goals.
Yeah.
And your water goals.
Water goals. Yep.
Right. So you don't call it tracking, but there's still things that you are keeping tabs on, we'll say.
I do keep tabs on it. I mean, I know that this water bottle holds 40 ounces and I drink one as I'm working out. I drink another one in the afternoon, and then I might drink water at dinner when I take my vitamins. So I know that I'm getting between 80 and 100 ounces of water a day.
So water helps with a lot of things. A lot of things.
Yeah. I mean, Weight Watchers has a side of the app, a GLP-1 side of the app, where you can track just your grams of protein. And I was using that here and there. But even that, I just really, I don't know, after tracking with Weight Watchers, being anti-tracking and then tracking and then going back and forth for years, I just didn't want to do it anymore. And tracking is very helpful, and if you've never done it, I really suggest that you try it, because it can be very helpful to see, what you're eating, and is it enough? Is it too much? Like, I don't know. We interviewed Dr. Alexandra Soa, and her point of view on tracking is to just write down what you're eating without any judgment or calorie counts or point counts or anything. Write down what you ate and how you felt when you started eating. Were you hungry? Scale of 1 to 10. At the end, are you satisfied? Scale of 1 to 10.
And she says she's not tracking, but she's got a whole spreadsheet, and she can tell you how much protein she ate in a day. So it's a psychological thing.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely like to see progress, right?
But
I
she's
like
not
to
tracking.
see numbers. I like to know. And I guess, tracking can be very helpful. For me, it got to a point where it was no longer helpful. And I really don't do it now.
And the thing with these medications is because they, particularly early on, will severely limit how much you can eat.
Right.
You will be full pretty quickly, like within a few bites. So you want to make sure you're eating the most nutritious food you can. Protein is a great way to start. Fiber, you need the vitamins, you need the minerals, all those things.
Eat your protein first.
So that those bites really count, because you're only going to have a few to begin with. And it's counterintuitive, and I know I say it and it doesn't make any sense, but it is possible that if you don't eat enough, if you don't get enough calories, you will not lose weight as well. It's crazy. But
well, that's where plateaus can happen too, right? If you're not eating enough, your body is holding on to every calorie that comes in because it thinks you're starving to death. So it's making very good use of those very few calories. So that's when sometimes you need to eat more to lose weight.
If we could start over and do all of this again, what would you do differently than we did to begin with?
I'd probably stay on 2.5 a lot longer. I'd probably stay on the 5 milligram dose a lot longer. The side effects that I had were fatigue, a little bit of heartburn at first, and constipation, right? I don't know if those side effects would have been lessened if I had stayed on the lower doses for longer.
Not necessarily, yeah.
I mean, I'm in maintenance now. I take a 7.5 milligram dose and I still struggle with constipation. But honestly, I think I've always struggled with it and just maybe never paid that much attention to it before. So now I pay attention to it. I take fiber gummies. I make sure I'm drinking my water. I incorporated, some whole grain bread back into my daily foods, like vegetables, getting that fiber in. It's important. So it's just become more of a focus, I think, than on any diet that I've ever been on.
Well, and I would have definitely...
It's not a diet, right?
I didn't quite move up the same way that Laraine did, because I moved around a little bit on with the medications. But I would have definitely moved up more slowly. And there's a bit of a misnomer out there that the higher the dose, the faster you'll lose. And that is not necessarily true.
Yeah, I really didn't see that correlation at all. Looking at my spreadsheet, I really didn't see that. I just lost consistently. So
it's, you're not going to all of a sudden lose 100 pounds in a month on 15 versus 2 pounds in a month on 2.5. It's just, it doesn't happen. And we've seen people, as we've talked to them and the people in the community, and we've done Downsized Dish interviews, that have lost weight really well on every dose.
yeah.
The side effects don't necessarily get worse. The weight loss doesn't necessarily go up. You have to do what's right for you.
Yeah, and the thing about these GLP-1s is they're always working in your body, right? So that that level of medicine in your body is always there. And as you take it every week, some of it fades, has a 5-day half-life, but then you take another dose at day 7 and you kind of step up as you increase your dose. So some people are going to do well on the lower doses and it's going to be fine. Some people need to move up and find the dose that works the best for them. Some people might need to go all the way up to the top dose of 15 milligrams. And it doesn't matter, right? There's no superiority in being able to lose on a lower dose or being able to lose on a higher dose. It's all the same medicine, right? It's all the same journey. You just have to figure out what works the best for you.
Absolutely. So yeah, I would definitely go more slowly. Beyond that, to me, the biggest learning is it's the marathon thing. It's not. Or it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And people ask, I'm like, rule number 1, take the shot. Rule number 2, patience is what it takes. Just keep doing it every week. Get your habits in place. Eat your protein. Drink your water. Do all the things. Do your exercise. If you're constipated, take your Mago 7. This one loves a good Mago 7. Because what you discover is you wake up 10 weeks down the road, 12 weeks down the road, 30 weeks down the road, and you look back and you're like, holy cow, I lost 50 pounds, I lost 100 pounds, I lost... And you do.
It just adds up over time. So, the best advice is to just keep going. Keep taking your shot. Keep doing the best you can. Eat your protein first. Drink, all the things like Christopher said, and you'll get there. It adds up. It adds up. But really, it might take 6 months. It might take a year. It might take 2 years. But that time is going to pass anyway, right? So the sooner you start.
Best day to start is today.
Best day to start is today. If you're sitting at home with this medication in your fridge and you're scared of getting started, the best day is today. So
yes, there are side effects, but they're manageable. Work with your doctor. Most people do not have significant issues with them. Mm-mm. There is a small percentage that do. So talk to your doctor. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. But these drugs work. It's amazing. I am constantly surprised. I walk through my bathroom and catch a glance of myself and I'm like, holy crap, who is that? Well, that's me a year and a half later, healthier, more fit, the whole 9 yards, with a hot wife. She was always hot.
Well, thank you, Jer. So and it does take a minute, now that we're at goal or close to a goal, for my brain to really realize that I'm no longer a 200-pound plus person. I'm a 141 pound person, and that's just it's everything is different. I don't understand how my clothing size is so different. I pick up, my clothes and I think, oh, I can't fit into that, and then I put it on and I fit into that. It's body dysmorphia. It's, and that's why I always say take photos at every stage in your journey so you can compare. It's best if you can take them in the same place with the same outfit, the same time of day, because you can really see the progress, I think, in pictures. And I was always taking pictures of myself in my bathroom mirror. Okay, I'm starting a new diet today. Let's take the pictures. So I have pictures going back years. And now I've used some of those to compare because I, have the same workout outfits or the same clothes or whatever. So pictures can definitely help your mind understand what your body is doing.
So going back to the question, how fast can you lose weight on GLP-1s? Well, the science from Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk say on average, it's going to be somewhere between 52 and, remind me of the number, 104 pounds, I guess, a year. Okay, it's a long-term play.
Well, the average is 1 to 2 pounds a week. So in a year it's 52 and at 1 pound a week, or 104 if you're 2 pounds a week. So and we've seen lots of people lose 100 pounds
Yep.
on these medications. I remember back in the old days of Weight Watchers, I knew a couple of people who had lost 100 pounds, but it was very rare, right? That was like, you really like wanted to know what they were doing to lose those 100 pounds. And now we talk to people every week who have lost 100 pounds, 150 pounds. We have one lady that's lost 270
Yeah.
pounds. You know, on several different GLP-1 medications. So it is possible.
It's possible. For us, it's been very consistent, right? It has just happened because we put in the work, we took the shots, and you can do that too. So if you're wondering, yes, you can lose weight on these medications. So yes, for us, it's been completely worth it. And this has been a journey that I would absolutely do again. Would you?
Oh, sure. We're going to continue. We're going to continue doing it.
So the goal is not honestly rapid weight loss. The goal is consistent weight loss that you can keep off and that can create a more healthy you. So let us know what you think. Let us know how your weight loss journey has been in the comments. Please tell us what medication you're on, how well they've worked, how much you've lost. Give us all the details.
I'd love to know, you watching, what has been your average weekly weight loss? Like, look at your starting weight, look at your weight today, subtract, find your total weight loss, divide that by the number of weeks you've been on this medication. And what's that number? You might be surprised. You might be surprised to see what your average weekly weight loss is. So put it in the comments, because I'm curious to know how you're doing.
Yeah, we'd love to know that. So the other thing we do every week is talk to people just like you who are on a GLP-1 journey. Maybe you're just starting, or maybe you're 200 pounds in, who knows? We call it the Downsized Dish, and Laraine and I interview people. How can they be a part of that?
You can send me an email to Laraine@thedownsized.org, LARAINE@thedownsized.org, and I'll send you a link to our calendar. We'll talk for 30 minutes to an hour, and you can tell your story. So send me an email.
And then every week, or most weeks, we do our live stream. So here on YouTube, typically it's Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where you can come on and we take questions from the audience, and the audience talks to each other. And usually there's a couple of hundred people having a conversation about weight loss, obesity, GLP-1s. Sometimes it's...
Make sure you like and subscribe.
Yep.
So you'll get notified when that happens.
So that's us for today. That's our conversation about how fast do you lose weight on GLP-1s. Thank you for joining us. My name is Christopher Durham.
I'm Laraine Durham.
We are the Downsized. We'll see you next time.